Welcome to the Extra Mile podcast for bar exam takers. There are no traffic jams along the Extra Mile when you're studying for your bar exam. And now, your host, Jackson Mummy, owner of the Celebration Bar Review.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 278 of the Extra Mile podcast for bar exam takers. This is your host, Jackson Mummy. Glad to be with you. We are in November. That seems amazing to me. I don't know about you, but it feels like September and October just rolled right through super fast. And of course, the last week of October was really something in terms of bar exam results. We got results in New York and the District of Columbia, and we got results in Georgia and in Texas. And frankly, we weren't expecting any of those except maybe the New York results that week. So that was quite a week. And congratulations to everyone that passed in those jurisdictions. For those of you that did not pass, we understand how disappointing and devastating that can be. And we're here to help you make the next bar exam your last bar exam. In today's episode, I'm actually interviewing a successful New York UBE bar taker. Dory came to us after having taken the UBE several times unsuccessfully using the big box bar reviews. Dory was a law student in Puerto Rico. She came to New York to take the exam, and she just couldn't seem to make it work. She was getting very frustrated. And then she found us. She watched an interview that we had done with another student from Puerto Rico who had gone on to pass the UBE earlier. And she got interested in what we were doing. And she signed up for our course, in which she worked with me in what we call our Basic Plus course. And Dory went through the entire range of emotions, as you're going to hear her talk about. At one point, she actually was ready to quit and just give up on her dream. And then she hung in there. We talked. She started to get better. She used PhotoReading, one of the tools that we recommend for students. And she used our Paraliminal recording series. And the result, she passed the UBE with a 274, her first time around with us, and it is a great, great story. You're going to love Dory, so stick around for that interview. I think you're really going to enjoy what she's got to say. Now, I want to just say, if this is your first time with us on the podcast, we are glad to have you. We come every week about this same time, and we offer the podcasts in both video and audio. If you'd like to watch today's interview with Dory, you can do that by going to celebrationbarreview.com/278. If you prefer to listen to the podcast, you can do that on Apple Podcasts, on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, radio.com, lots of places where podcasts are syndicated. And be sure, if you're listening in any of those platforms, to go ahead and subscribe so that you don't miss out on a single episode. We try to keep you updated on everything that's going on in the bar exam. As we are in this first week of November, it's a little bit of a lull now. We're waiting for California results, the next thing that's going to come out. And those will be mid-November. And then we will be full on into the February 2020 bar prep season. Speaking of the bar prep season in 2020, I want to let you know that our podcast, as always, is brought to you by our free training series. It's called Do Something Different, Make the Next Bar Exam Your Last Bar Exam. This is a look at the steps that successful bar takers follow in order to pass their exam. It's a 90-minute free training session, and it's designed to be consumed at your own pace and at your own convenience. It's an on-demand session. You do need to sign up, and it's easy to do that. There is a link right here on the show notes page for both the video and audio podcasts, or you can go to our special website, celebrationbarreview.com/webinar, and sign up there, and then watch this special presentation at your own convenience. I think you're going to really enjoy it. We talked to a number of successful students, and you'll hear in their own words what worked for them and how they were able to do something different and make the next bar exam their last bar exam. So if you've been frustrated by your results, frustrated by the entire bar exam process, I think this is a great way for you to turn the page and start to do something different. That's why we named it that, and I really hope you'll join us. Thousands of people have been through this training, and it's been life-changing for them. Well, I don't want to keep you waiting. This interview with Dory was really a lot of fun. She is a very exciting, fun, and passionate individual. But I think it's really important to recognize that in the process, she also went through not only the great highs, but the great lows. And I thought of this particularly as results came out last week, and there were so many people that I know are discouraged. And I think it's really important to hear what happens and how you can overcome that disappointment and that discouragement, and then the absolute elation that comes when you find that you've passed your bar exam. So let's go ahead and drop into our conversation with a successful UBE New York bar taker. Let's talk to Dory. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Hanging Out with Successful Bar Exam Takers. And I have, boy, what a great story and a great person. Dory Morales is with us today. And Dory, you just passed the UBE in New York, right?
Yes, I did.
How does that feel?
Oh my God. I'm still in shock. Like, it's unbelievable because, well, we're going to enter into the details, but at one point I was already like, okay, I blew it. This is not for me. I'm a mess. And then voila.
Yeah, it's quite a journey for you. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your background and the bar exam and kind of what's happened to you leading up to this point?
I studied law in Puerto Rico, and my law school experience was not the best, to be honest. I suffered from shingles. I almost lost my eyesight. It was very chaotic and tragic at some point. And then when I graduated, for some reason, I decided that I wanted to challenge myself and take the New York bar exam because I've read about the UBE and how you can waive it in so many jurisdictions. And I thought, well, this I get more for my money, if you know what I'm saying. Because in Puerto Rico, well, of course I want to take the bar in Puerto Rico, but you can only practice in Puerto Rico. It's not the same. And I went for it and I was determined to, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to prove not only to myself, but to everyone that, feels like, oh my God, I could never dream to achieve something like that because I come from this tiny little island. My parents are not from money. I was not at the top of my class in law school. No, I have no chances to prove to them that if I can do it, you can do it too.
Yeah, that's a pretty, I don't want to let go of that because that's a big deal. And as we're going to talk about in a minute, in the middle of all of your studies, of course, Hurricane Maria came. Yes. And then the disruption in the politics in Puerto Rico. And there was a lot going on. It wasn't like this was just a simple, easy transition for you to make. So what's the first time that you took the bar exam? What year was that?
I think it was 2018.
Okay. And it was the New York UBE, right?
Yes. And I took this big bar prep course, a famous one. Yeah. And I failed and I was devastated.
Yeah. It's pretty discouraging, isn't it, at that point, right? So what did you do after the first try? You got your scores back. They're not particularly strong, as I recall, you telling me. And so what did you do then?
Well, I took the bar exam 3 times, the New York bar exam 3 times. The first time around, I got to be honest with you, I didn't have an clear idea of what I was getting myself into. And I didn't study as I should. I was completely lost because the course was basically do it all yourself. Here are the books and that's it. Then I tried again in February with the same course because it was free. And I fell short by 10 points. And I was super frustrated. I was like, I was so close. I could feel it. But for some reason, God, life is so good that I came across one of your advertisements on the internet. And I read the description and I read the success stories and I watched one of your interviews with a girl that it was also from Puerto Rico and that passed the UBE in DC. And I was sold. Because I felt, identify with her. I was like, yeah, I know what you're going through. And I called you, and the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah. The interview you're talking about is one that we did with Naisha Serrano, and you're very similar. I mean, there's a lot of commonality beyond the fact that you're both Puerto Rican attorneys, but the drive and desire is very, very much the same. So you came to us and you said, okay, I'm willing to do this. And you signed up for our Basic Plus course, which is 8 coaching calls with me. And you also signed up for photo reading and using Paraliminals. So talk to me a little bit about what as you get underway in our course, what's that feel like to you? What's different about it? What's working? What's hard for you?
First of all, I like, it feels way more personal. I like that. I like knowing that I have a real person behind the screen that is actually listening to me. And, you know, sometimes I feel like we law students are like so dramatic. Like, no one gets this. It's so hard. You don't understand the stress we're going through. But with Jackson, it was like, finally, someone gets it, you know? Like, it was so different. I finished that call and I was sobbing because it's like that sense of relief. Like, at least he understands what I'm saying, what I'm going through, what I want, and what this is so important to me. And, you know, everyone at CBR, the CBR family just treats you like you're part, you know, you're not another number. You're not another random person trying to pass the bar. They're actually a human being and they're going to take care of you. And if you call and you send an email at 3 a.m. crying, don't worry. They're not going to judge you. So that was pretty awesome, I got to say.
Yeah, no judgment. You know, and I know it's emotional even for you now talking about this process. Early on in the process, you started doing some writing. You and I were doing video calls, one of our first, not the first, but maybe the second or third call. And you got on the call and you just were really distraught. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I think this is very important because we are so eager and so open about talking about our victories and our success all over social media, but sometimes we forget all, you know, the struggle and the pain and the failure that we went through to get to that amazing, delicious moment. And I remember that one day I was studying and I entered Facebook, you know, just to waste a little bit of time because I was tired of bar prep. And I saw that the bar results of Puerto Rico came out. And a lot of my class, you know, colleagues were celebrating that they passed the bar in Puerto Rico. And I was in New York in that tiny apartment, looking at the screen, you know, with hands on my head, wondering, what am I doing here? What am I doing with my life? Like, am I making the right choice? And then I wrote this email. Oh my God, I'm so dramatic. I apologize, Jackson. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed now that I think about it. I was like, no, I quit. I give up. I can't do this. I'm so sorry, Jackson, for wasting your time. I'm ashamed. I don't know what to do, but I don't want to keep doing this. And I remember you were like, okay, call me right now. I need to talk to you right now. And you snapped me out of it. And you used the analogy of Wonder Woman. And that was pretty empowering because in a way, I felt like I was seeing Wonder Woman at that moment. And I just, it was different, the change of perspective at that. I just saw, you know, why are you crying? First of all, you are being so blessed. You don't know how blessed you are for being right here at this moment, studying for this exam. You know how many people would kill for this. They don't even have the chance to, you know, ask, you know, to have people around you that supports you, believe in you. And you're here in New York. Like, this is something, maybe not, but for me, it's something big. And you're not only here for yourself. If you make this, you know, you're gonna be maybe a source of inspiration, even for one person that is feeling as sad, as, you know, that is in their lowest point. So quit the whining, get to work. You got this.
That's amazing. You know, you say it better than I did. The reality is that we even talked about what this moment would be like today when you passed and you'd have the chance to do this. And I think what you just said, Dory, probably has a whole lot of people in tears because they are right there right now, right? They are frustrated, they're angry, they're just disappointed. The bar exam is so tough. For you, English was not your first language, so you
No,
had
it's
that
not.
additional challenge.
Yeah.
Um, and having taken the exam and not been successful, it just feels like, oh my God. And then everything else is going on in the world. And certainly it's a crazy time. And that was a crazy time, and this is a crazy time. And I recall saying to you as part of that conversation that I felt like you had an obligation to just go in and do your best, to go all out, not worry about the result, but just be everything you could be. That's the model that you have to be. And somehow, sometimes as a coach or a teacher, you say things and you say, well, I hope that sparks, I hope that connects, I hope that clicks. And we finished that call and you were kind of, wiping the tears away, and you said, okay, I'm willing to try that. And then from that point, your work just got better and better and better. What was starting to happen for you? What was going on in your world, in your mind, as you started from that point?
Well, after that conversation, you remember, at first I was pretty self-conscious about English being my first language, among other things. But then after that conversation, it was like this sense of duty that I did not only owe to myself, but to others, to my people, and not my people, to whoever is listening to this right now. And that just, I don't know, that gave me some strong sense of you got this. Because even when you don't believe in yourself, you have so many people around you, including you, Jackson, that believe in yourself. So you have no excuses, girl. So let's get it.
Yeah, and so you got to it. Well, let's talk a little bit about photo reading, because that's a very different technique, something you'd never experienced before. What was that like for you?
Well, if I'm being completely honest, at first I was like, these hippies, what are they talking about? This is not true. Like, come on. And then I started, visualizing like the readings. And it was so fast. And I was so mad. Why didn't know of this when I was in law school? Oh my God. But you need to put aside, that sense of skepticism. You need to be like, okay, minded, I'm going to try it. And it works. It works. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a scientist, but it truly works. Like, I remember, and I don't know if I sent you an email or something like that. Like, I was doing an essay and I photo read the essay, and the answers started, like, I could even remember the number of the rule. I got scared at that moment. I was like, oh my God, how? And it was, in fact, the rule that my brain was like, hey, here it is, pretty clear, come on. I mean, it works. It's worth every penny.
Yeah, that's fabulous. And you also use the Paraliminal audio recordings, right?
Yeah.
And did you have a favorite recording? Anything that was sort of your go-to that you like to listen to?
I don't remember the names, but it was something about self-confidence.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Belief.
I struggle. It was called Belief.
Belief. Oh yeah, sure, of course. Belief.
Yeah.
Because I struggle with self-confidence a lot. I think like that was one of my biggest obstacles. It wasn't even the test per se. It was the fact that I was so convinced here that, okay, I'm not capable of doing this. I don't have the abilities. I don't have what it takes. When in reality, I did. So yeah.
Yeah. You were studying and working before the exam, is that right? Or just studying only?
I was studying. So
you were full-time study, right?
Yeah, I was full-time studying. I was going through the changes of, moving to New York and all that jazz. But yeah, I wasn't working.
And then in the midst of all those studies, we have the hurricanes, we have the political unrest in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
How hard was it for you to keep your focus on the bar in the midst of all of that?
Oh my God, you have no idea, because I was in New York, but then I had to go to Puerto Rico, and my grandma got very ill and she was hospitalized. And then the whole, government riot, the protests and all of that happened. And I was in the midst of it all while trying to keep my bar studies. So it was very challenging. And I even got sick myself. Like I got the flu. It was so many things going on and that's something that I learned with this, throughout this whole process. Like you can make a beautiful schedule, and you can put all your hours and you can get all your highlighters and okay, I did this, I did that, but life happens and you got to be prepared for it. And I remember when I called you and you were like, don't worry, don't sweat it. Just study when it's, accommodate the time and don't put more pressure on yourself than you already have. And it worked. I remember that I used to, wake up early, study for 4 hours, then go to the hospital to see my grandma and spend time with her. No bar prep. It was me, my grandma, my family time. And that's something that I really like about this, about, CBR, because it's unrealistic to have it all, perfectly a schedule and to think that you're going to do every task at, that very moment. No, life happens and you got to be prepared for it, be creative and roll with the punches.
Yeah, I remember talking about the importance of the time you spent with grandma needed to be with her, and the time you're studying the bar needs to be on studying the bar and not trying to multitask. And I think in some ways, almost giving you permission to go spend that time the way you needed to spend it, because you had been doing the work. You had been really diligent about doing all of your assignments. I knew photo reading was working well for you. Your multi-state was coming along well. Your essays had gone from chaos to really being sharp in a very short period of time. And you had really gotten the writing style. It seemed like everything was coming together well for you. And I didn't want you to be torn, right, and I could tell your own physical health and being in Puerto Rico and all the things that were going on right then. It was just so much happening. And I really felt like, okay, this is the real test. Can you keep your focus? Can you keep moving towards this goal that you wanted that's so important to you? And I think in one of our last calls, you just I felt like when it was over, it was like, she's got it. She can do this. She is not being overwhelmed by the circumstances, right? No. And so, okay. So you've done all this prep and now it's time to go take the bar. What's it like going in to take the bar this time?
Oh my God, that day. Well, I took the bar at the Javits Center, and maybe this is too much information, but I'm going to say it. I got my period. And I was feeling like I was dying. I'm not like, I was, taking painkillers as if they were candy. And I was like, oh my God, okay, focus, because, it hurts, but you are here. You need to do what you came to do. And I remember that convention center so filled with people, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? And, and some of them crying and others, you can see the struggle. And I was, oh, okay. But I isolated myself from all of that. I was very concentrated and not dying and taking the bar exam. And it was surrealistic in that sense. And, it was raining a lot. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? What else? Come on, bring it.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah, bring it.
So Wonder Woman, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. If I told you how many times students tell me that they're having medical issues and having their period on the bar day, I don't know how that works in history, how they schedule it so conveniently, but I don't know, it's crazy. Anyway, so 2 days of real intensity. The Javits Center, for those of you that don't know, is a huge, huge location in Manhattan.
Yes.
And it's probably one of the most intense locations.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No.
The first day, the essays, the reading part, I remember I was feeling pretty confident about the MPTs. I was like, oh, you know what? It wasn't so bad. I think I got this. Then the essays came and I run like out of time. So I started, typing like, And I remember being on the subway and I started crying, sobbing uncontrollably. I was like, I don't want to cry. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm crying. And they say, don't worry, because in New York, people don't care. They're not going to look at you if you're crying. They don't give a, let me tell you, people were staring at me. What the? But then when they saw like the band, they were like, oh, okay, she just came out from the bar. Yeah, we get it, girl. But then,
good New Yorkers. Yeah.
I still have the NCBE, so you need to, pull it together. So that's what I did.
Okay. So you go back day 2 for the multi-state. Now, as a photo reader, you had written to me during your studies that this weird thing was happening to you where you were reading a question and the answer was just visually popping out.
Popping out, yeah.
And was that happening when you got to the NCBE day? What was that like?
Well, it happened, but I gotta admit that I was like, Jackson truly knows because even the wording of the multiple choice questions, it was kind of different. Some of them, I don't know if they were testing new things, but it doesn't, like, I remember seeing like, I haven't seen this. But then I remember those very old tests, the ones that you made me to, like, from the 80s. I don't even remember that. I was like, what's the point? This is old. The page says, do not use this. Okay, this is not good for studying. And then Jackson goes, use that. You need to use that. And I was like, what? And I remember it resembles those multiple questions. So that helped me a lot because I even remember seeing questions in the test that I already took from those old tests. And it was like, oh, easy peasy. At least I got this one. But yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so bar exam is done. You're finally over. And now you've got the very long wait for results. What did you do while you were waiting?
Well, I came back to Puerto Rico, and I was trying to keep myself busy. Like, I was going through some personal stuff, and so I wasn't really like focusing. To be honest, I think I kind of forgot that I was expecting those results because I felt so bad when it everything, it ended. I was like, oh, I failed again. Like, I'm pretty sure, because I was like, I don't feel. And I remember I called you after the test and I was like, what the heck was that, Jackson? I was not expecting that. But I kind of forgot. And so, yeah, I wasn't paying a lot of attention.
Okay, so you're just going on with life. And for those that don't know, New York does not have an announced date for their results. You just wake up one morning or one evening and there's the email, right?
But what was the crazy thing? That although I wasn't like very much paying attention, the day before the test results came out, I couldn't sleep for some reason. I just couldn't sleep. And I was, and at 4 a.m., I checked my email at 4 a.m. And it was like, oh, I don't know why I'm doing this. Okay. But then at 6 a.m., I checked my email again. Bada boom, surprise, the results are here. And it was the first time that I saw that email. It wasn't even open yet. And I didn't feel this, wave of anxiety. I was so calm. And I opened it and I saw, the big words, congratulations. And I started crying because that's what I do. I cry. I'm a crier. And it was one of the most real feelings that I ever felt in my life. Showing the phone to my parents, and I was like shaking. I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Are you sick? I passed. Guys, I passed. And, the celebration. And it was very beautiful.
That's great. Well, we celebrate here when you pass. We ask you to yell, "I have my life back," because that's really what happens. So I'm going to embarrass you a little bit here, and I'm going to count you down. We'll do 3, 2, 1, and I want you to yell, "I have my life back." Yes, I know. Can you believe it? All right, you got to be dramatic here. All right, ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, I can do it.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
I'll do it with you. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. I've got my life back.
I got my life back. Thank you, Jesus.
There you go.
I was so, I first thing I wanted was to, set the books on fire.
It's okay. You can do that.
You can do that.
We're okay with that. We're okay with that. So
no disrespect.
Yeah. So what we've got is a story in which, you come at this with a lot of determination. It's discouraging. It's hard. And I think for people that have not been through the experience of you move to another place, you come into the city, you're in the apartment, you're studying all day, you're working through all that. It can be really overwhelming. And yet you persevered through that. Then you had things going on back at home, and you left, and you went through all of the challenges of being in Puerto Rico and studying and getting sick, and your grandmother and all of that, and you come back to the exam and you get through all of that, and then you get the results, and in New York you need a 266 to pass. You did that, right?
I did.
And that means that you're also entitled to waive in, if you wish, to a whole bunch of other jurisdictions, right?
Yeah,
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, so many of them.
Yeah, there's a bunch. And
Yeah.
so that's a really major accomplishment. I said before we started, I am so proud of you. And I mean that with every ounce of my heart. I know that there will be people watching who have had similar circumstances in failing the exam, feeling like they should give up, feeling like it's too much. Not that they're not smart enough or capable enough, but it's just too much, too difficult, too many barriers in their way. What would you say to those people as they're listening or watching now?
Well, I think it's very important, and this is something that I learned in this whole journey. You need to understand failure sucks. That's the truth. Nobody likes to fail, and history is written by winners. But the thing is that failure is not a personality trait. You are not your failures. You're not. That's just part of life. That's just part of it. And all of us go through it, and sadly, more than once. So you feeling like, oh my God, I suck. I'm not capable of doing this. Others are doing so well. First of all, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone has their own time. Everyone is going through their own issues, having their own journey. Focus on yours. And remember, again, failure is not your personality. It's just something that happens. It's just life. And sometimes you can do every single thing right. And you feel like, but why? I'm doing everything. I'm studying so hard. I'm committed. But it is when you fail that your character, develops. Ask yourself, what is life? What is God, if you believe in God, trying to teach me with this failure? And embrace it. Embrace it. Change your perspective. Change how you see failure. Because if everything was easy, then we wouldn't have this awesome podcast, this awesome stories going on. Where is the inspiration if everything, was easy peasy? So that's something that I would like, everyone to always remind, and be kind to yourself. You need to be kind to yourself.
Yeah, that's great advice. Being kind to yourself. I think that your accomplishment speaks for itself, but I also know that the kind of person you are, the kind of attorney that you will be, the member of the bar that you will be, is so important for our profession, to have people like you, Dory, who are dynamic and competent and capable and passionate about what they do. I'm really excited about your future. I think that, this is just the opening of the doorway for you. You are very, very brave to have walked through this very big door, and you did it. And I suppose that in all those failures, all those moments of discouragement and doubt, the moment of success, it just had to make that moment so much sweeter for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. Now that I think about it, all that I went through, all the obstacles, it just makes it even more epic. Yeah.
Epic is a great word for
Epic
this.
It's still with, the Wonder Woman theme over here.
Okay.
But I wouldn't, and you think about it, and I wouldn't change it for the world, everything that I went through, because it had a big purpose. And I hope that, you know, the future, someone is going to be inspired by this. Please don't give up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be inspired, and I think a lot of people who might have been thinking about giving up will go, well, maybe I won't. So I really appreciate always when people, when our students agree to come on, we have lots of success stories, but not everyone's willing to share their story, and certainly to be as open and vulnerable as you've been today. I know that that's a big deal, and I am so deeply grateful because I know that out there is someone who had to hear this today. And, you know, my faith, your faith, tells me that that person is going, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Dory, we are so very, very proud of you and your accomplishments. We are excited to see what the future holds for you. I don't think, folks, that this is the last you've heard of Dory Morales. I'm just guessing, but I think you're in for great things. And we are really appreciative that you would come on and share your time and thoughts and your story with us today. Any last thoughts you want to share with anybody before we jump off here?
And don't ever think that because English is not your first language, because you don't look like the majority of the people that are taking the bar exam, you're less than them, because you're not. And we are here to stay. So just deal with it, people. We're here to do great things. And yeah, bless you all.
Great. Thank you. We're really glad that we could be on this journey.
My pleasure. Anytime. It was really fun. I was nervous, but I liked it.
Yeah, there you go. Well, listen, everybody, thank you for being with us today. Thanks to Dory. And we will be back again soon with another story, but boy, it's going to be tough to top this one. So bye-bye for now. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Well, that's our episode for this week. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I think there were just real gems there in terms of how to utilize the different tools that we offer, how to make things work. In fact, why it's so important to do something different if you want to make the next bar exam your last bar exam. And of course, that's what Dory did. It's also the name, as I said, of our free training session. You can register on the show notes page. Just click on the link or go to celebrationbarreview.com/webinar to reserve your free seat, and then we'll see you in that special training. Well, for now, we're going to sign off. Hope everybody is doing well, getting started, those that have to, for February or July of 2020. And again, congratulations to everyone that got their results, and good luck to those who are still waiting on their results. Mostly California now, a couple of other small jurisdictions, but we're really just waiting on the big jurisdiction here to come in at the end. So hope everybody has a great week. We'll see you again next week. We've got another terrific interview coming for you with another successful bar taker. So stick around for that. And we'll see you next week along the Extra Mile.
Thanks for listening to the Extra Mile podcast for bar exam takers at www.celebrationbarreview.com.